Okay, we're going to start by using algebra to solve word problems. So I'm going to do the first two, and then you're going to go in and do the third and the fourth. So I'm going to show you the steps on 1 and 2, and then you're going to do 3 and you're going to pause it, and then you're going to do 3 and 4, and then you come back on and I'll give you the answers to 3 and 4. So problem number 1, it says the larger of two numbers, so that means you have two numbers, is 4 more than the smaller number. And if the sum of the number is 74, find the numbers. So we need a let statement. We need to say let x equal the smaller number. And then read that again. It says the larger of the two numbers is 4 more than the smaller. So 4 more than the smaller. So that's going to be your larger number. Okay? So now, when we add them together, they're going to equal 74. Combine like terms. And then we're going to solve for x. So we get 2x equals 70. And divide by 2. So x equals 35. So if x equals 35, the second number says take x and add 4. So we have 35 and 39, the two numbers. When we add those two numbers together, it's going to give us 74. Okay, let's go on to number 2. Number 2. Number 2 says the larger of two numbers is 6 less than twice the smaller number. If the sum of the number is 42, find the numbers. So let x, my smaller number, I'm just going to say s. And then it says twice the smaller number. Okay, the larger of two numbers is 6 less than twice the smaller number. So the let for the second number is twice x minus 6, and that's your larger number. So now we're going to add those two together. So we're going to say x plus 2x minus 6 equals 42. Combine your like terms. Solve for x. And we get 3x equals, you want to solve for x. 42 and 6 is 48. Divide both sides by 3. And you get x equals 16. Okay? That's the first number, or the smaller number. Now, if I look at the second number, it says 2 times x, so 2 times 16 minus 6. So you get 32 minus 6 gives you 26. So number 2, the two numbers are 16 and 26. If you add those two together, it's going to give you 42. Okay, so now I want you to pause it. I want you to do 3 and 4. And when you're done with both of them, turn this back on, because all I'm going to do is give you the answers. Number 3, 17 and 44. I'm going to post an answer key, so if you did not get that, you need to go back and check that answer key, or check with the teacher. Number 4 is 21 and 85. Again, the answer key is going to be posted. Also, if you need to work with the substitute or the teacher that's there for me, work with that teacher. Now we're going to go to the other side. We're going to work on number 5. These are a little different. And before we start this, remember this, 2 times the width plus 2 times the length, or sometimes they'll say 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay, it doesn't matter which order I put those in. So this one's talking about the perimeter of rectangles. So let's read it. It says the length of a rectangle is 6 inches more than its width. Well, we don't know what the width is, so we need to assign a variable to that. So let's say let x is equal to that width. Now I'll read the rest of it. The length is 6 inches more than its width. So that's your length. Now we're going to use a formula in a minute, but I'm going to draw you a picture. Sometimes the pictures are a little easier to understand on this type of a question than if you use the formula. But I am going to show you both. So I'm saying the width is x, right? And now I'm saying the length is x plus 6. Okay? When you do perimeters of any figure, you walk around the figure. As you walk around the figure, you add up the like terms. So I'm going to say I have x plus another x plus another x plus another x. That is 4x, right? And now I'm going to do my constants. I have a positive 6 and I have a positive 6. So that's plus 12. And the paper says it's going to equal 24. So now I'm going to solve for x. So then I get 4x equals 12. We'll go to the next page. 4x equals 12. I'm going to divide that by 4, and I get x equals 3. Let me make that picture again. It's a little easier. So we had x here, and then we had x plus 6. So if x is 3, then we have 3. This one has to be 3. And then I'm going to substitute the 3 in this right here. So this is 3 plus 6. That equals 9. So if that side equals 9, this side equals 9. So if you add your 3, your 9, your 3, and your 9, you're going to get 24. So I know it's correct because they said the perimeter when we're done is 24. The other way would be, remember your let statements, and we're going to use that formula. So the formula says 2 times the width plus 2 times the length, and it equals 24. So I've got 2x plus 2x plus 12 equals 24. And now we're back to that equation I made when I drew the picture, and then you solve. So both are, either one you can use. You have to show either the picture or using the formula, and of course the equation from the picture, and then your answer. Okay? So that is number 5. Let's do number 6. Number 6, again, we don't know the width, so we're going to say let x equal the width. And then let's read it. The length of a rectangle is 5 inches more than 4 times the width. So 4 times the width and 5 inches. Okay, more. So that's your length. So I'm going to draw the picture. Okay? So I'm saying this is x, this is x, this is 4x plus 5, and this is 4x plus 5. Okay, so I'm going to combine my like terms. 4 and 4 is 8, 9, 10. 10x. Positive 5 plus 10. And the problem says it's going to equal 90 inches. So I'm going to subtract 10. Going to subtract 10. I get 10x equals 80. Divide by 10. And x equals 8. Okay, so that, let me go back and substitute that in. I'm just going to put an x on one side. So I have an x, and then we said we have 4x plus 5. We just said x equals 8. So this is 8. This has to be 8. So this one says 4x, 4 times 8, plus 5. So 8 times 4 is 32, plus 5, that gives me 37. So this is 37, and this is 37. So if you add them up, it's going to give you 90. So the dimensions of this rectangle are an 8 by 37. Okay, I want you to do 7, 8, and 9. So pause this until you're completely done with 7, 8, 9. Come back and I will give you the answers. 7 is a 4 by 5. 8 is a 13 by 20. And then 9 is an 11 by 17. Okay, so if you didn't get those answers, remember the answer key is going to be attached, and I want you to use that answer key to check your work or also ask the teacher. We're going on to the consecutive numbers. We've done those before, but let's just go over them again. Consecutive numbers, you're going to fill in 1, 2, 3, 4. Consecutive even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8. Notice your consecutive numbers are going up by 1, and your consecutive even numbers are going up by 2. And then your consecutive odd numbers, they're going up by 2. Okay, so it all depends on what it says. So let's go on to problem number 10. Problem number 10, it says the sum of two consecutive numbers is 123. So let x, first number, let x plus 1, because remember I said those consecutive numbers are going up by 1 from one to the next, is our second number. So when we take x plus 1, it totals 123. So now let's combine our like terms. Subtract 1 from both sides, and we get 2x equals 122. Divide by 2, and x equals 61. So now when I add 1 to it, I'm going to have the numbers 61 and 62. When you add those two together, it will give you 123. So now let's go on to number 11. Let x, the first number, and this time it says two consecutive numbers. So then we're going to say let x plus 1 again is going to be your second, but this time it's going to equal 85. So x plus 1, and it equals 85. Combine like terms. Solve for x. Divide by 2. And x equals 42. When I add 1 to it, I get 43. So the two numbers are 42 and 43. Okay, number 12. Find two consecutive even integers. So let x is my first. Let x plus 2, because remember I said those numbers are going up by 2, is my second. So now let's add them together. X plus 2, and it equals 54. So you get 2x plus 2 equals 54. You're going to subtract 2 from both sides. So 2x equals 52. And we're going to divide by 2. And x equals 26. So the first number is 26. When I add 2, I get 28. So your two numbers are 26 and 28. And I'm going to do 13, and the rest of them you're going to be on your own. So number 13, the sum of two consecutive odd. So x is the first. And remember, on your odds, even though they're odd numbers, they're still increasing by 2. Right? The difference between the two of them is 2. So we're going to x plus 2, that's my second number. So now we're going to say x plus 2 equals 128. You get 2x plus 2 equals 128. Subtract 2, 2x equals 126. When I divide by 2 on both sides, x equals 63. And 63 is the first number. When I add 2 to that, it gives me 65. So those are your two numbers. Okay, you're going to do 14, 15, and the challenge. So pause it, do the problems, and then come back, check your answers. So 14 is 44, 46, and 48. 15 is 17, 19, 21. Your challenge. There are consecutive numbers. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Okay, we're done.